Hey fangirls and boys, this is Natalie and you're watching Whole Lotta Love, and today's video is on this two-toned eye look here where I use the Jeffree Star Bloodlust eyeshadow palette. I use that on my left eye, and the Dawson Jeffree Star Conspiracy palette, I use that on my right eye to create this really fun two-toned winged cut crease look. So this isn't like a get ready with me or anything. I'm just going to kind of go through the makeup look once I get started, show like the technique and the shades that I'm applying and things like that. But I did want to, you know, kind of check in with everybody, see how everybody's doing with this whole COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak. I think it would be a little bit weird for me to not say anything about it. I'm lucky enough that I, was finally given permission to work from home. I think that the hardest part about this whole situation is the unknown and just kind of having to sit with that unknown. This could really exacerbate and really be like a global disaster, or it could kind of simmer down and just, correct itself, which is of course hopefully what happens. And I just kind of feel like, you just have to have faith. There's, a quote from the Bible that I'm going to put up on the screen, and I feel like that is really, whether or not you believe in Christianity or God, I think that it's just the idea of really just having faith that things will work out one way or another the way that they have to and are supposed to, and that it's going to be okay. So I don't think there's really anything to fear. It's just kind of hard, like with all the panic, everybody around you, you're kind of nervous and all of that different stuff. It's just it is a scary time, and it is kind of unprecedented in a way, but I think, we'll see a lot of, humanity step up and all the kindness of people and things like that. And I think this is a great time, which is what I'm kind of doing, to create art. If you're lucky enough to be able to kind of stay at home, I think it's a good time to really go inward, really be present with this unknown, hard as that is. And if you could find distractions, I think, art is a really good outlet. So, for me, making videos, doing makeup is, it's calming. It's an art for me. For other people, like my husband, it's playing music. He actually, creating music that he does. And, if you know how to paint or draw, or even if you just want to play around with that a little bit, I definitely recommend just, creating art at this time. And I really, am praying that this will kind of blow over in the next couple of weeks, and that we won't have to really suffer too much as a collective. It is really unfortunate that there are people getting infected with this disease and people that are dying with this disease. Just let's hope that it kind of curtails eventually before it really does start to take out a significant amount of the population. That's really, of course, what's the scariest thing. So I hope everybody's doing okay and hanging in there. Anyway, if you are interested in seeing how I got this two-toned eyeshadow look using the Bloodlust palette and the Dawson Jeffree Star Conspiracy palettes, if you're interested in seeing that, then keep on watching. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I've already done my brows and I've primed my lids with the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. A white primer is a great way to start off a colorful look. It really helps the eyeshadows pop on your eyelids. So I'm going to get started with the Jeffree Star Cosmetics. This is the Bloodlust Artistry palette, and this is the outer packaging, which is super gorgeous. It's velvet, and then this is what the inside of it looks like. I've already used this palette for a look once before, and I do think it's pretty cohesive, and I do like the color scheme. So I'm going to start with the shade Monarchy, which is this kind of cool tone beigey transition shade over here. And I'm just going to put this above my crease, kind of like a transition shade. I'm just making it a little more blown out and bringing it out a little more than I normally would, because I'm going to do a winged cut crease. Now I'm going to go into the shade Vile Serpent, which is this matte dark teal shade over here, and I'm going to put that in my actual crease. I'm just layering and building up the color. And again, I'm kind of bringing it out a little more than I normally would. I'm going to go back into the shade Monarchy, and I'm just going to kind of blend out the edges of Vile Serpent a little bit. Just building out that Vile Serpent shade a little bit more, just layering it a little bit more. Really blending that out. I'm going to start to create my winged cut crease. I'm going to use a flat concealer brush from ColourPop, and this is the Kylie Cosmetics concealer in the shade Stone. I'm going to go into the shade Wet Jewel over here, which is one of those new wet formulas of his, and I'm going to just put this in the inner corner. I'm going to kind of mix the shade Deviant, which is this light lilac shade over here, and the shade Vivid Mood, which is a little bit more of a deeper kind of lilac shade. I'm just going to mix those two shades together and kind of complete the rest of the lid where I put the concealer. I'm just packing this on. I'm gonna go back into Wet Jewel a little bit, which is that pink shimmery shade, and just kind of blend that into the purple a little bit more. Going into Deviant to kind of mix those so everything is nice and blended. So this is what we have going so far. I think that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna take a little more of Vile Serpent, which is a deep teal shade, and just kind of run that along the top of the cut crease just a little bit to keep that emphasized. I am going to take the Urban Decay, this is the Heavy Metal Glitter Liner, and this is in the shade Disco Dream. And I'm just going to run this along the center of the cut crease. I'm not going to try to trace it all the way through. I just want a little glitter pop there, right in the center. And blend it out on either side. So that's the glitter liner. I think that's pretty cute. I am going to do a winged liner. I'm going to use the House Laboratories. This is just the eyeliner in the shade Punk, the black shade. And I'm just going to create the wing, and I'm going to run it along here where I created the winged cut crease. So the eyeliner is done. I'm gonna line my waterline. I'm gonna use this LA Girl Shockwave Neon Eyeliner, and this is in the shade Vivid. I'm gonna put on some mascara. I'm just gonna use the Fenty Beauty mascara on the upper lash. I am going to conceal under the eye, and I'm going to use the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Concealer, and this is in the shade Fair 20 Neutral. I am going to put some shadow on the lower lash line. I'm going to use this shade Bleeding Heart here, which is the red metallic in the palette. And I'm just going to take a pencil brush, just run that along the lower lash line. I'm going to take this Morphe, this is the M506 smaller tapered blending brush, and I'm just going to blend this eyeshadow on the lower lash line just a bit. I'm just going to put some Fenty Beauty mascara on the lower lash. I am going to finish this eye. I'm going to use the Likely Lashes. This is the style Blissful Baby. I'm just going to apply this lash off camera. So this is the Bloodlust eye done, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. I'm going to go ahead and continue on with my next eye using the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson Conspiracy palette. This is what the palette looks like. I am going to start with the shade Tannicon right over here, which is just a kind of like a peachy beigey transition shade. And like the other eye, I'm just going to drag this out a little bit more for the winged cut crease. I am going to take the shade Flaming Hot, which is this matte bright red shade over here, and I'm just going to put that in my actual crease. Again, just dragging it out a little bit more for the winged cut crease. I'm going to build the color up similarly like I did with Vile Serpent on this eye. Get it really nice and blended. Just going back into the shade Tannicon and just blending the edge of the Flaming Hot shade. I am going to create the winged cut crease again using the Kylie Cosmetics concealer in the shade Stone and a ColourPop flat concealer brush. So that cut crease is finally done. I think that looks decent. I am going to go into the shade Diet Cola, which is a silvery, tin silvery shade, and I'm going to put this in the inner corner. I'm going to go into this highlighter neon yellow shade called Food Videos, and I'm going to put that in on the rest of my lid where I cut my crease. I'm just going to really need to pack this on. I'm just blending this shade into the silver shade in the inner corner area. So that's what I have going with the eyeshadow so far from the Conspiracy palette. I think that looks pretty decent. I am going to go into my Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner, and this one is in the shade Goldmine. I'm going to do a similar thing where I just put it on the center. Actually, first, I'm just going to go back into Flaming Hot just a tiny little bit just to emphasize, like I did with this eye, the edge of the cut crease just a tiny bit more. Okay, now I'm going to go into the Heavy Metal Glitter Liner in the shade Goldmine and just get this right on the center of the edge of the cut crease. And just kind of blend it out on either side. So that is the glitter on. I think that looks cute. I am going to line my upper lid with the House Laboratories eyeliner in the shade Punk. I'm just going to line it along the winged cut crease like I did on this eye. So I have done the wing liner on this eye. It did come out a little bit messy. I got some of the liner on my lid, which looks pretty messy because it's a pretty light color. So I had a similar thing happen here, but it's harder to cover it up on this eye. But what I'm going to do to correct the wing, I'm just going to go in with concealer. Again, I'm going to use my ColourPop Pretty Fresh concealer. Start to conceal under my eyes and really get right up in this spot right here, the very edge of the winged liner. Just gonna proceed to blend this out and clean up the winged liner. The edge of the wing liner at least. There's not much I can do for that mess over there. Okay, after endless manipulation, I think that it looks okay. It's a little bit imperfect, but what can you do? I am going to take the Shockwave neon eyeliner, and this one is in the shade Screamin. This is just a neon yellow, and I'm going to put this on my waterline. I am going to use the Fenty Beauty Mascara on the upper lash line. I'm going to put the Likely Lashes in the shade Blissful Baby on the right eye off camera, and we'll be right back. Okay, the lash is on, and I'm going to go into the shade Illuminati, which is just this forest green metallic. I take my pencil brush and just run this along the lower lash line. Just going to take my Morphe small tapered blending brush and just run that along just to blend that out just a little bit. I'm going to finish this eye with the Fenty Beauty Mascara on the lower lash. I am going to do the rest of my face makeup and everything off camera, and I'm going to come back to show you the finished look. Okay, so this is the finished look. I really like how it came out. I love the color interplay, even though it's a two-tone look, kind of having the green on top, red on bottom, red on top, green on bottom. And all the shades in both palettes are unique, but the way they read on the eyes, the tones match pretty well. So I think that even though it's a two-tone look, it is cohesive, and I think that it came out pretty good. The Jeffree Star eyeshadows are a joy to work with, super pigmented, such beautiful, unique colors, easy to blend, especially when I was doing, I noticed especially when I was doing the top part of the cut crease before I, put the concealer down, when I was working within my crease, it's just so nice to get that eyeshadow. It's so easy to place it. It doesn't kind of poof everywhere. It goes exactly where you want it, and everything is really pretty, really true to color. So I am really overall very happy with the finished look, and I did have some difficulty with this eye. I kind of gave the Conspiracy palette a little bit of a disadvantage because it's always a little harder for me to work on my second eye, and always just doing the second eye, there's kind of more room for error because you've kind of done everything, you kind of perfected on one side, and the other side is just kind of like, especially with wings and things like that, you can get one and then the other doesn't match. It's just a little bit trickier, and especially doing it on my harder eye. But I think I was able to get it to work. I really love the tones with the Conspiracy. I love the tones with the Bloodlust as well. I'm overall very happy with the finished look. It was a labor of love, and I have succeeded. Anyway, that completes this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and have a good one. Bye, guys.